Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is episode 7. We just watched a crazy episode of the challenge, and I finally feel like we're getting the pacing that we're all used to. My name is Zach. As always, I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey.
My best friend, Jake.
Can I ask you guys something?
Are you going to ask us, or is it rhetorical?
I'm asking anyone that's willing to listen.
I'm listening.
How you guys doing tonight?
About the same. So yeah, we're gonna jump in. This week, I think probably the best episode of the season.
It was
far.
a good one.
Absolutely.
We'll jump into that in a minute. First, we got a little bit of business to take care of up top. Before we get into anything, we just want to thank Marie for coming on.
And being so awesome.
She's great. She texted us tonight right after the episode ended to ask what we thought about it.
And you know, I think we're best friends now.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
know,
absolutely. We're going to hang out.
And so, what's up?
Well, I was just going to say she's the official representative, right, for Smashing Heads Podcast.
Is she?
Can we deem her that?
Sure. I don't care.
She is the female representative, and Brandon is the male representative.
That's right,
Does that
'cause-
sound good?
Well, yeah.
At least for the time being, because
Yeah.
Brandon
we'll
did
get to
give
some
us
more
a
news.
shout out.
We'll get to some more news in a minute.
Earlier
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah, he did. Brandon was great. Again, if you haven't looked, he is having another baby in like the next 2-3 weeks. We posted a link to his baby registry a couple days ago. Go back and find it. You can send him something. It's pretty cool. He likes hearing from fans that are thinking about him. Again, there's some things in there that are like $5. So we sent him some quick little things, and he was really appreciative.
And when you're an expecting parent,
Everything helps.
Anything and everything helps.
Yeah, I mean, he's got practical things. And he's got crazy stuff like, cribs and PlayStations. And
yeah, I was about
things
to
like
say,
that.
didn't he put a PlayStation on his list?
But yeah, again, we want to thank Brandon for coming on and thank Marie again. What's crazy is we've recorded 4 episodes in the last 2 weeks, and then we all feel like we haven't recorded in like a month. It feels like so long since we've done like a weekly recap.
Even though it was like 4 days ago.
A
Yeah.
weekly recap.
Oh,
yeah,
weekly recap. Yeah, the last time we sat down at the table here
Yeah.
was like 4 days ago.
I guess it has been a while since you've been here because you've been gone.
Yeah.
Well, I know
It's been a week.
Again, time is in a weird standstill right now. Everything's happening so fast. We're going to get into that real quick. Before we get to anything like that,
Here we go.
we gotta call out Shane a little bit because
Our guy Shane.
well, it turns out Shane listens to us, but he's real mad about at the beginning of the shows that we talk about the download numbers, which we talk about them because it kind of blows our mind. We didn't know he listened, and yeah, we're talking about like that Shane, like from the show, Shane Landrum, and I think I said his name right. If I'm not, sorry, but I know you as Shanity. That's your Twitter.
Which I had a problem. I read his Twitter handle. I'm like, is it Shenanity? Is it
Shenanity, that's what it
Shanty?
is.
Yeah, you said Shanity.
I think it is.
I think
I
it
thought
is
it was
Shanity.
Shenanity.
Shenanity.
Well, he'll clear that up because the next announcement is that Shane's going to be coming on the podcast next week.
He's coming on.
He's coming on.
I'm sure he's going to really get a hold of us for butchering his Twitter handle.
He's probably going to get a hold of us about a lot of things.
Well, he's already gotten a hold of me
Yeah,
for
he did.
the George W.
He did. So yeah, we've had a lot of people reach out this week. Every one of them said, "You're insane for thinking it's anyone other than you." Now, other ones have said, he doesn't sound like him, but if anyone at the show does, it's him. Shane thinks you sound exactly like him.
I don't know what it is. I've never heard it before in my life. It's news to me. But if it keeps the people coming back, then call me your George W. Let's roll with it.
That's what we want. And so yeah, Shane's going to come on. We don't know much about next week. We know that the episode is named after him.
So
And
that's some good foreshadowing.
We finally saw the preview tonight. And obviously it looks like it gets into it with Jose. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we get to it. But again, had no idea he listened to the show. We interviewed Marie, and I think I just tweeted something at him like, "Hey, you got to shout out about your weird little room that you and Marie share." And he's like,
yeah.
"I listen to you guys every week." Duh.
So instead of talking about our numbers for 25 minutes, we're going to talk about Shane for 25 minutes.
Yeah, basically, which I think he'll like that.
Yeah.
So he's coming on again.
We're excited about that.
If any other current, past, whatever cast members listen, like reach out to us, let us know. Like that's crazy to us.
Say it to him again in case they didn't hear you.
In case you didn't hear me, if any other cast members previous, I didn't say it the right. I was gonna say it the exact same way and I screwed it up. Yeah, if you're listening and you've been on the show or you are currently on the show, like it's mind blowing to us. Like it just is. And so, again, we're 3 people.
It still feels like all of the episodes that we've recorded are only reaching like our close friends that listen.
Well, that's not true because I send you guys the new countries every time they happen. And so, yeah, again, we want to shout out. We know we have a lot of new listeners, more than likely, just based off our download numbers because Marie's episode became the number 1 downloaded episode for us in just like 48 hours. Like it was crazy.
Look at you, Marie.
Everyone wanted to hear from Marie.
They did. And so we know we probably have some new listeners this week. This is our weekly recap show. We do it every Tuesday after the new episodes premiere on MTV. We're going to be sprinkling in more interviews as they come. We have Shane lined up for sure. And I double checked with him today. I was like, before I announce this, it's like, is anything going to, do you want me to wait and make sure nothing comes up? And he's like, nothing's going to come up. So
if you are a new listener, one thing we said from the very beginning, from episode 0, is that we're going to give you our hearts.
I don't know if we said that.
I said it.
You may have.
I did.
I know.
Jake
I remember
said it.
what I say.
I know that first and foremost, we have
Jake,
said
you
from.
said it.
He
from-
doesn't
I
listen to
believe
me.
you. He doesn't listen to me either.
I don't listen to myself either. So
Unbelievable.
we said from the beginning, we are a fan podcast. We are not Challenge Mania. I like those guys a lot. They do really cool stuff. This week,
Scott does a great job with that.
this week was
podcast.
killer. Like Landon West as a sandwich. Awesome 3 episodes in a row.
That's a good sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're not that. I mean, we just aren't. We're fan driven. We're going to speak from our emotions. We're going to speak from what we like about the current season, what we don't like. And as we transition into that, we got our first real taste of, I don't know how to phrase it, but it's the Twitter Cara sphere.
Now you're about to give us your heart because this hurts you.
It doesn't hurt me. It's just dumb. And
All right, so let's just clear the air because I feel like there was a lot of animosity being built up.
So let's jump into this.
Break it down for us.
We interviewed Marie.
Yeah.
We got a lot of new listeners on that episode. Like quantitatively, we can look at the numbers and where they're coming from. We got a lot of new listeners.
Yes.
So we had some people reach out. There's a lot of Twitter fans that are like, I'm Team Cara all the way, Team West, Team Bananas, whatever.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, that's fine. We had a lot of Team Cara notice our show. And
Because we had
we had
Marie.
Marie, and they want, Marie's going to talk crap about Cara, which she kind of did, but that's her right to. But
I mean, they're partners this season.
at the same time, she was pretty complimentary of Cara as far as she knows she's a great competitor. She's lucky to be teamed up with her.
Yeah, Marie had a lot of really good things to say about Cara.
Yeah, and so, again, if you're new to the show, we are fans. We are not professional journalists. We are not challenge authorities. So
When we sit at the table, it's us mostly discussing with each other what we thought, our opinions.
this is what we
how
would
we
have
feel
talked
about
about
it.
even if it wasn't recording. We just happen to be putting our opinions out there, which for the most part people seem to like, which I'm fine with. However,
It's okay if you disagree with us.
I think some people do not know our past and didn't listen to the early episodes, which is fine. We got some new listeners. They think we hate Cara Maria.
No, I was a huge Cara fan for years.
We've talked about, I think every one of us had her on our first episode, top 5 females of all time.
Of all time.
We all were really big fans of hers going into this season, from Fresh Meat 2 on. But this season, she has been very
Controversial. And
controversial.
she's
That's
kind of
that's
turned
putting
us
it lightly.
away.
She's been very hypocritical in some senses, and she's been very whiny in some senses. And yeah, so Marie talked to that. Marie lived with her. We're not, so we take what she tells us as like gospel essentially, because we were not there. And so I know people hate Marie sometimes, and I know people are going to think we're biased, but what started all this is someone called us out and they're like, oh, I listened to it and I can't believe how mean they were to Cara and how not mean they were to Marie. And I was like, okay.
Marie was our guest. We're not
Yeah.
going to be mean to our guests.
I tweeted back. I was trying to clear the air. I was like, hey, I don't know if you listened to the show. We've been fans of Cara from the beginning. This season, she's rubbed us the wrong way. And like, you can listen as the episodes have progressed that it's slowly turned like our opinion of her this season. That doesn't mean we're not going to like her in the future. And I said, and you're a little biased, haha, because she had Cara as her picture. She had
that's where you set them
She had Team Cara in her bio. So she's biased. We're biased because we're fans. That's where it all started.
There you go, breathe.
And so
let me say this is we made clear, because
I was very polite in those tweets.
We felt, I did, and I felt like we kind of talked about this in passing, that we just felt kind of weird talking about people in a negative way. Like, we never at any time have attacked anyone's character on this show.
We've said they've annoyed us this season. We're not like, oh, they're the worst person, other than maybe Derek H., which we said he sucks at everything challenge related. Sorry.
Which we said last week, we're not attacking the guy's character. He may be one of the greatest human beings on planet Earth.
He may be great at every other sport. He's not good at the challenge.
Not good at the challenge. And so, the fact is, as great as Cara Maria has been over the past few years, is that what we are seeing this year is not typical.
It's atypical of like what we've seen in every other season.
And it's not common for her. Now, I came to her defense last week with my revelational statement idea, in that I believe she's in love. I think she's still in love. And when people are in love, they act irrationally. It happens. I understand.
It just happens to be filmed.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a fact. We're not saying anything out of line about her. It's a fact. She's acting kind of ridiculous this season.
The one thing that someone got mad about was they were like, and when I say we had it was like 2 people. But they were like, oh, I can't believe you're trusting the editing on this season. I was like, well, that's all we can go off of. I mean, it's like, that's all we see. And
I mean, that's what MTV wants us to see.
We don't have the daily cuts where we've got, 16 hours of nonstop footage. So, yeah, again, we're basing our opinions of the show off that. We're spoiler-free. We don't want to know who wins because we want to be able to give real reactions like what Jake had last week. I mean, this is our discussion table. Literally, we're at a kitchen table. And we're just hashing it out as it comes. We try to take as little amount of time between the episode when it airs and when we start recording. Because we want to be right into it and give the thoughts fresh off our head. We don't discuss it beforehand. So, anyway...
We're on people's radars.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, Shane's going to get mad at me, but, our downloads have like doubled almost in like the last week.
Shane, we're sorry that this has taken so long just to get into the actual episode.
Do you feel better now?
I told Zachary that we really needed to work on it.
We're 12 minutes in, so we're good. I feel better.
You feel better.
I feel better for sure because...
And let's be clear, we're not offended.
No.
We're not mad at anyone.
I get it. They're fans. We're fans.
But we just want to be clear, like, hey,
if I heard anybody ever say anything even remotely negative or bad about Jenna, I would flip my table.
I thought she was coming to your defense.
Oh, no, she would come to Jenna's defense way before me.
Absolutely.
That's a sad story.
She's a God-sent gift to the earth.
All right.
You're going to get Team Jimmy? I don't know. That they were vendettas.
They're friends now,
Yeah, they
though.
are friends. Anyway, needed to clear the air a little bit up top.
Hashtag Team Jenna.
I think that's different, though. We're not just reading emails and talking about stuff, which we probably will start moving towards the end of the show from now on out. We'd been discussing it anyway. Then when we got yelled at by Shane about it, we were like, yeah, we'll move it to the end of the show. However, this week, not even going to get into emails. Sorry if you emailed us. We've tried to email everyone back. This has been a kind of crazy week.
But we enjoy the emails.
We read all of them. Even if we haven't
love
seen
the
anything back.
emails.
We read every one of them. And so let's just get into tonight, man.
Let's do it.
And woman. We finally started with an elimination.
We almost had 2 eliminations in one episode.
It felt more like classic challenge TV.
So when Marie was recording with us, she's like, this next episode is going to get crazy and you're going to really like it. And she's like, I think from here on out it's going to be good, and something along those lines. And
that made us feel really a lot better about
it. Made me personally feel a lot better.
I felt good the whole time.
That's fine.
I've told you guys.
But you enjoyed tonight's episode more than other ones.
Did you get plenty of drama?
I've enjoyed it all the same. I've been all in.
That. I don't believe
you. Don't believe it. You don't listen to me. You make me out to be a liar.
I'm just gonna edit you out of this episode like we did on Marie.
That's fine. You know what?
Jake, it's like you're not even here.
That's your fault. You're on crappy Wi-Fi. You're not going to talk anymore. However, he will be in studio, which is our kitchen, for Shane's interview.
That's right.
He's not going to be remote like the other 2.
Dining area.
Whatever.
Not kitchen. We have an open floor plan, but it's not the same.
Anyway,
what were we saying before you
elimination?
Called me a liar?
We started with an elimination, which was great. We got to see who voted for them. It ended up being Tori and Derek.
Yeah, but remember at the end of last week, it seemed like every single person in the house was like, let's just do a burn vote.
Oh, yeah. Well, the episode was
and
sad
so
Brad
I
and burn
was
votes.
really excited to see how that played out because I knew it was not going to be anybody that we expected.
Yeah, it played out being Tori and Derek, and I think they're
a lot of people were disappointed with that. I think people went in and did a burn vote thinking that other people would vote somebody specifically.
As much as I think Tori's a good competitor, as a team, they've not been good.
No.
I mean, there's no
it's
denying it.
It's been very disappointing.
So, I mean, again, their choices to choose from were
Joss and Sylvia.
Brad and Kyle. Was that the other one?
Yeah,
Brad and Kyle and Faith and Angela.
Okay. Yeah, and we all assumed they would go Faith and Angela. I think someone did a little confessional and said we thought they would go that way too. I think they should have done that.
Absolutely. That was their best chance.
Yeah, just because Joss is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
He was like literally pulling Sylvia up the whole time. And then the funny thing was, it did cut to Derek one time, and he's just reaching his hand out and not even like pulling the rope or grabbing her arms. Like he's
even that
he's not contributing anything.
Even that he can't even just grab onto his partner's hand
or the rope.
Or the rope.
Josh was like, if he couldn't get to Sylvia, he was grabbing the rope and pulling her up.
But you know what I notice is that normally with a elimination, it's cut into 2 segments, right? Like you normally have a commercial break.
Yeah, this is straight through, right?
This I don't even know that this lasted 5 minutes.
Yeah,
well, it seemed like when it ended, I was like, boy, didn't seem like a whole lot to that. So my idea is that Derek is so disrespected,
so
rightfully so,
not good for TV.
Yeah, that they didn't even like hype up this elimination. Like it just seemed like it happened and it was over.
Yeah, so going into this episode,
I get that.
Marie and Shane even on Twitter and some other ones were like, "This is the best episode in a long time." I think Shane says best episode in 10 years.
Yeah,
and so I was like, "Oh crap!" It's like, "Are Josh and Sylvia going to get put out by Derek of all people?" And
that would be a major.
Yeah, that
upset.
didn't happen. He just again kind of proved, and I promise. He's not going to be my person who got his head smashed this week because I think Paul's the one who emailed me. Is like,
That's right.
You can't pick him
Derek's
anymore.
not in anymore. Which when I did my list, I didn't even think about Derek.
Yeah, again,
I forget he's there.
It was cool to have another elimination, but at the same time, they were just like, let's get this one out of the way and set up the big one at the end.
Yeah, it was very
get to.
anticlimactic.
So yeah, the elimination, which we didn't really talk about, because again, if you're listening to this, you watched the episode. It was like a Ninja Warrior looking thing, like that warped wall they do. It was different than anything. All the eliminations this year, I think, are going to be different, just because they have to be able to do guy, girl, girl. No matter who goes in, it has to be some sort of
an even, fair elimination.
Even if it's the bands, which I was glad Marie talked about, because she was like, put Zach or Brad or Kyle or any of those people in those bands. They would have done better than Pauly. Put her in Cam's bands, she wouldn't have done as good as Cam. She said that. Cam is good, which we will get into.
Oh, yeah.
I will say, my last note for the elimination that we actually saw, one, it was...
My last note.
It was very surprising that Tori decided to choose Joss and Sylvia over Faith and Angela. It was just a bad decision.
I get her reasoning, and at the same time, I think she was just like, we're not going to be good. Might as well try to take someone out and see what happens.
I think her reasoning was, we're probably going to lose anyway, and it would be less of an ego.
Oh, yeah.
A hit to her ego if they went home.
Oh, a good team took us out.
Yeah.
If a new rookie team took them out, that would be a big blow.
A female rookie team.
I didn't say that you did.
Well, I mean, she's got Derek, who looks like he should be able to help. But as Joss said, I quoted this, Derek is about as useful as the G in lasagna.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Oh, I heard him.
Which I thought was a good point to make, because he was not doing anything to help Tori.
He never does. I mean, I don't want to just like keep hammering that, but that's what his whole career on the show has been.
I got my hopes up for tonight's elimination. I thought maybe he was going to try to show up and show out.
To me, Derek is like if you took like Laurel, but gave her like Casey's athletic ability, but looked like Laurel or Emily or one of those. like someone that's like, oh, this person's gonna be really good. They're in really good shape. They look like they could dominate stuff.
But Casey didn't even ever want to even be there.
Yeah.
Here's what I wonder.
What do you wonder?
Is that
what's in a wonder ball?
Maybe he's a better individual competitor because
he might be.
He was getting up that ramp. He was the first one up the ramp.
He was.
He did do a good job. That's when I was like, oh, this is going to be good.
I will say when it started, I was like, I think Tori can get up on her own, and I know Derek can get up on his own, and we know Joss can. I was like, I don't know if Sylvia is going to be able to do that repetitively over and over again because that's a lot of upper body strength.
Yeah.
And what we saw, she really didn't. She held her own, but Josh was pulling her up the rest of the way. I mean, you just get tired. I mean, Tori tired out too.
But I'm thinking maybe this guy's just a better individual competitor because I
think he just needs to stick to the dating shows.
But even while he's performing well, getting up the ramps, he still finds a way to just ruin it and can't even just grab his partner's hand or the rope. And it's just it doesn't matter.
There were a couple times where he just sat there and kind of watched Tori struggle, and I'm like, what's the point of that?
It's like he's having like PTSD from that like ring challenge where he's just lost and looking around and not knowing what's happening.
I want to see the man succeed.
It would be a better show if he was good. I mean, it just is.
It would be more exciting because
Derek, I'm sorry if you listen to this. I don't think you do, but
I'm a big fan of Tori and I want to see her do well in this challenge. But I really feel like he's holding her back because he's not pulling his end of the weight for their team.
He pulls it and then he just like forgets everything else. He's like, I don't have a partner. Who cares?
One track mind.
Okay, so yeah, again, Hannah's like my last note. The reason I started laughing a minute ago because my last note was how disappointed TJ was in Derek.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, come on, man, you gotta put it together.
Yeah.
And TJ doesn't normally say stuff like that to people.
Again, I thought that was funny. So
that was really funny.
We got through that elimination. It was fine. I'm glad we saw an elimination. We got some good pacing.
Yeah, and a daily challenge in one episode.
So yeah, the Redemption House is what they cut to next. Because
Tori and Derek go.
And again, Natalie's reaction right off the bat. No, like it's like it blows her mind.
anytime anyone walks in the door,
and it's like she was sitting there watching the door, like,
And the cameras are clearly like, hey, everyone, get in the same room together. We're gonna film you. Again, just her reaction when she's laying in bed was still the funniest thing. Like, other than Marie's face last week when she's like, what are you doing? Like, Natalie, head down, not knowing who touched her. No.
How?
I feel like,
Why? How?
I feel like Dario could walk through and she would go, oh, no.
Well, that would probably freak me out because he's not supposed to be there.
He's not even on this season.
It's like she thinks...
It'd be weird if his twin brother walked through.
It's like she thinks, no one's supposed to be here.
Yeah. Like, it's like she forgets the rules of the game. I don't know. I think it's acting if she's just not good at it. Because, again, Marie told us she's the fakest person on the show. That's her words, not ours.
That's right. I was just thinking that.
That is a direct quote.
She said it, not you.
I did not say it. I just repeated it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel about Natalie in general.
Nah. I mean, if she wants to come on the show, that'd be cool. But
cool.
I just have
We're kind of indifferent.
I have a distaste for most of the Big Brother people in general, just because I feel like they all just want to be,
especially
famous.
After Paulie.
We'll get into some of that. Yeah. So we're in the Redemption House,
and while we just a few minutes ago had a big rant about Cara and
this was a very un-Cara, un-Kyle episode.
Yeah,
if that's the term.
Even CT is with us.
Yeah.
CT has been one of her biggest supporters for years.
They always do the celebrity stuff together. Like, they're together a lot. And he just was disappointed. Like, he's like, Cara, what are you doing?
He said he expects more out of Cara than what he's seen.
That's what it was.
Yeah, and I think Tori and Derek coming into the house, they obviously the people that are in the Redemption House want to know what happened. And so I think it was Tori was trying to tell them how the voting got messed up. And everybody did burn votes because Tori had tried to make an arrangement with Cara and Marie
she felt that's why they got thrown in.
for Faith and Angela. And Cara did not. Obviously, we know she did not vote for Faith
Marie
and Angela.
went with it. They were just like, screw it, whatever.
And so she's telling that. And CT, I have a quote, Cara is so disappointing. Or that's so disappointing.
It's something along those lines.
Cara, something... disappointing.
I wrote CT disappointed in Cara, so it's something along those lines. again, we might get hate for saying that if we have new.
CT said it,
You know
not
what?
us.
CT said.
You know what?
However, I will say I messaged Marie about this. I was like, "Is getting harassed by Cara fans like a rite of passage?" And she's like, "Absolutely." And so again, I think that means we.
I feel better about that.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like
it doesn't hurt our
we're on the right track.
It doesn't hurt our feelings because we get it. They're really big fans. We're just fans as well.
But you know what? If we're going to get bashed for anything, let us get bashed for something that CT stands for as well.
Good stance.
Am I right?
I mean, we're named after CT, so
Exactly.
I mean,
so
I will say I hated him for a long time. It's
you
weird.
got to get over this.
I'm over it. I love him now.
We're going through another season. Is it X's 2 or Rivals 2?
Rivals too.
Rivals 2. And CT and DM are on it, and they're broken up.
That weird Anastasia season where he hooks up with that girl.
that
Yeah,
girl.
and like I've just been so frustrated with CT. He's being so stupid, and I'm like, oh, come on. You know, you guys are supposed to end up together and live happily ever after.
It is funny watching that season, and then Cook's partner goes home because her dad was in the hospital or something like that, and Cara's the replacement, and when she walks out, it's like dead silent. Like everyone is like, ugh.
I think CT was the only person that was remotely excited about her.
I mean,
coming in.
again, Wes talked about it a little bit on the Challenge Mania Part 2 that he was on, and he was like, she drove us all crazy, and it.
He poured a 2-liter of Coke on her.
But he said he's like, listen, I shouldn't have done that. Go back, just go listen to the episode. He explains it all. He's like, I was an idiot. I shouldn't have done it. However, this has been building up for like 8 weeks, and we had just changed locations, and we were all drunk, and he's like, we were in the middle of a food fight, and she runs in and was like, hey, said some inside joke that made everyone mad. He's like, so I thought I'd pour a couple like ounces on her. And he's like, she just stood there. And he's like, do you know how long it takes to dump out a 2-liter of soda on someone's head? And he's like, she just like soaked in it. And so he's like, I come off looking awful. He's like, and I am. He's like, I shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
He's like, but at the same time.
It was immature and kind of cruel.
Yeah.
But he did say he started to pour it on her, and she just stood there and took it. She never tried to move, didn't try to jump out of the way. She just took it.
Again, anyway, we're not going to talk about old seasons this week.
But your guy Paulie is about honor. Did you know that?
Okay, I just wrote that he's exhausting.
Say what's on your mind.
Because to me, okay, Tori and Derek come in and they're explaining the thing, and Paulie gets like
he's
fired up.
It.
He gets so worked up, and it's like it may be a week before you even see these people. It may be like 3 weeks because we don't know when they're going to do the next double cross thing. I was like, there's no, like him getting worked up is getting worked up just to be on camera because those people are not in the house. He has no rivalries with anyone in the house, and he's like working himself up to get in a frenzy. Like again, that's why I don't like the Big Brother people to an extent, because I feel like Natalie plays up her camera time a lot, and I feel like Paulie plays up his camera time a lot, but in two completely different ways.
Do you think he's still pacing the floor?
He probably is. I mean, he probably knows someone's gonna have like a cell phone out at some point, and he's like, I gotta be in that mode.
I think what would be.
Do you think he sleeps?
I don't know. He sleeps with Cara.
I think you think about him a lot.
I don't. I'm glad we had a minimal on this because I don't like his personality. Again, Wes talked about how he enjoyed what he's bringing to the show, just from a kind of chaotic standpoint.
A consumer point of view.
I get that, but I don't like his personality.
It's not a good one.
Yeah.
I only got one note
I'm sure
on Paulie.
I'm sure he has fans that may get mad. Whatever. Again, these are just our opinions.
Yeah, no,
it's not facts.
The only thing I got on Paulie for tonight was Paulie's interview. So full of himself, just looking for camera time.
Yeah, that's how I feel like him and Natalie both are. And
I don't get it so much from Natalie. Probably because they do it so very vastly differently from each other.
He's very over the top, and she's very like under, like I guess dramatic. I don't know. Anyway,
it's very tiring.
Are we done with the Redemption House for tonight? I guess we see Tori and Derek talking to each other, and the only thing I wrote about that was Tori was just shutting Derek down from the beginning. She's like, we are not going to get back together.
Yeah, that was.
And I was like, he didn't really ask if you were. That was kind of funny
because I think Derek he was starting to realize, hey, if we don't air out all of our dirty laundry, we can't work effectively as a team.
And she was like,
and she
we're
sits
never
down
getting
and
together.
she said something along the lines of, in this house, things can be taken out of context, and you're really misinterpreting.
She was laying it out there.
He's wanted to talk about how she cheated on him and how he can't trust her. And she is saying, we're not going to get together. We're not going to hook up.
You know,
it's like a whole thing.
She hasn't done the best job building up the man's pride at all, because even when they got eliminated, she mentioned Jordan, who she's still with, who they put out another cover that still weirds me out.
We haven't really watched it yet.
I watched it, and I don't know. It's weird.
I will say, one of our followers who writes for, I think it's Medium, he's on Reddit as Rip Grantland, which that's why I like him, because he's a big fan of Grantland.
Yeah.
I think today he wrote an article, and I'm sorry if it wasn't you, but I'm pretty sure I saw it was, that was asking, like, after these 3 seasons, like, do we really know Tori and, like, what she can do? Like, we understand that she made it, like, 3rd place the first one.
Yeah.
And she's done one of the Champs versus Stars, but we really haven't seen her do, like, a lot.
Well, you guys were potentially throwing her into your top 5.
I never was going to put her in top 5 unless I'm mistaken on that. I didn't want to put her in top 5. I think she's good. I really do think she's good.
I had she and
because
I had her and Cam tied almost at 5, I think.
I think Cam is smarter, and we still haven't even gotten into all that yet.
We'll get there.
Yeah. I'm not saying Tori's dumb at all. I think what Cam came up with tonight is brilliant. Like, it really is. Like, it reminded me of how, like, Wes used to try to, like, completely manipulate the games. And I don't even think his was this deep, because we had to pause it a couple times. And once I figured it out, I had to try to explain it to you guys what I thought was happening.
Cam got me so excited tonight.
I liked it.
Well, before we break down Cam, let's talk about the daily challenge.
Yeah,
that's
my fault.
So they split everybody in half.
It is your fault.
It is.
And let Zach and Amanda choose which team they wanted to be on.
From the beginning, I was like, they should choose the right team.
Yeah, but also they were forewarned by TJ, you're going to be in a big cave. You can't get out until you solve the puzzle. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking the green team is very physically stronger, but not necessarily mentally that we know of.
Yes, but you only had to do one puzzle.
Yeah.
And so once that happened,
it took them a long time to figure it out.
I wish we could have seen like an actual side by side, because that's what I was telling you guys when we were watching it, was the way they edited it. They could make it look like they were neck and neck, and it wasn't even close, because they were not anywhere near the same room. Like, they were far apart from each other. And so I think Zach's team, or whatever, the green team, I think they got out pretty quick compared, because...
Well, I don't think anyone had even... one team had gotten to the finish line for the other team.
Because the green team
yet.
was done, and Cara was just now getting out of the other bunker.
See, what I think was... What I think happened was... I don't remember the other color. The other team that Shane and Nelsa and Cara and Marie were on.
No, Shane and Nelson were on. They were on the team that won.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, because Shane solved the puzzle.
That's right.
Yeah, no, I wrote it. I
thought they were on the same
way
team.
To go, Shane. He solved that puzzle, because someone was. It may have been Cam was like get him and they were trying to work it out, and they weren't getting along.
Brad was not. Brad in that puzzle was really frustrating to watch, because I think a lot of the guys there were trying to really figure out the puzzle, and Brad's like, no.
He had
you got to spread it out. You got to think about Tetris.
It was Tetris shapes. It was Tetris shapes.
Yes, Tetris shapes, but that's not going to help you put the
I will say
puzzle
he
together.
did have some good points. The like 2 block ones. Mm-hmm. He was like, those can't be in the middle. Like, they got to be on the sides. It just makes like a almost like a half pipe looking shape. He's like, those can't go anywhere else, and that was right. But again, Shane figured out that one. They got a bucket or something, and they were able to dig out. Zach was the first one out, I believe.
Yes, and I think Amanda was the last one.
He was yelling for Amanda.
Yeah.
I wrote down Amanda not even trying to get out, at the back watching everyone else crawl out.
Yeah, she just was. You got to push your way through. I mean, it's. I get that there were some bigger people in front of her.
Yeah, but even then, like, people were kind of elbowing their way to get to the hole.
Yeah.
And so there were a couple of guys in one corner and, like, an open spot in the other corner.
Mm-hmm.
And Amanda is standing behind the cluster of guys just watching.
Yeah.
Just standing there watching. And I'm like, if you would kind of take 3 steps to the side, you could get out.
Again, I get it why it's frustrating for Zach, and then Brad just takes off, and he's the first one to the finish line.
Yeah,
he's like,
just
oh,
left.
crap. He's like, I got to have Kyle. And
Kyle was one of the last ones to get out, too.
Again, like, I think Zach said at some point, he was like, I could try to screw everyone over and, like, push dirt back in here and try to just get my teammate out. It's like, but that's not going to accomplish much. So, Cam and Kaylee were the first 2 out that made it as a team.
Yeah, which I think was impressive.
Yeah, they were the first all-female team to win.
Yes,
Zach and Amanda
so far.
won last week.
And it's been Kyle and Brad.
They've won a couple, yeah. So that puts Cam and Kaylee in the power seat. And the only thing I wrote was, like, Kaylee got so lucky that her dumb teammate got in a fight with Cam's dumb teammate.
They were
Because
both dumb.
she is on a great team now. And I'm not saying Kaylee's bad. We haven't really seen much because she quit halfway through the last season.
We just haven't seen much.
Yeah.
In general from her.
We've seen enough from Cam to know that she's good. And we brought that up with Marie. Like I was like, I think she's a powerhouse. She's like, she's good.
She's a force to be reckoned with. And I think especially after tonight, she's really showing more of what she can do.
Yeah.
I said it a few weeks ago. She's in my top 5.
I can't put her there yet. We'll see how this plays out.
For me, she's inching her way up there.
She's on the verge of it.
She's already there for me because
can't do
she's
it.
proven enough from a physical standpoint, and we'll break this down as we get more into it. But tonight she presented to us.
She did show us
mental game,
a different side than what she did before.
And it shocked me.
She knows how to get in people. Like,
I
again, she
never
got
expected
into
it.
She got into it with Melissa in that last season, and she was smart enough not to fight her.
Yeah.
But when she started talking, she was sitting with, I can't remember who it was. She started talking about, I've got a plan. I was like, it'll work. And I was like, I wrote Cam's strategy with a question mark. And I was like, what is that going to be? And that was actually even before the daily. They showed that before.
Yeah.
And
she said it depends on who wins.
Yeah.
And she and Kaylee won, so that worked out great.
And so
she brings the whole house together.
Well, it looks like they're about to go out, which they didn't show.
That,
but
or they just came back.
Everyone was dressed up like really like they were going to dinner or a club or something, but they never showed it, so they may just got cut for time because they wanted to whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, she calls everyone in and she's like, "Hey, I have an announcement. Just want you to know I'm going to put Kyle or Brad up," which she had good reasons.
She
She's
said
like,
Kyle and Brad, or
yeah, I know,
Joss and Sylvia.
Yeah, I was going to get to it, but she said
You said Kyle or Brad.
You did say Kyle.
okay.
Brad.
Well, sorry, I just misspoke. She was talking about Kyle and Brad, and she said because you guys threw me in. Kyle did last time, and I had to go up against somebody, and then Brad threw the grenade at her on her team. So those are legitimate enough reasons that it seemed real.
Yeah.
And then Joss and Sylvia,
Even though she and Sylvia are supposed to be really good friends.
well, they are. That's a trick.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, everybody's like, I thought that was her friend.
Yeah. What was the reason why she? Because they voted for her. They voted for her this time, like in the first elimination with her. Yeah.
Yeah, they had voted for them, and it showed because it was like a burn vote or something.
Anyway, there were valid enough reasons to where it worked everyone in the house over. And I will say, Sylvia did a pretty good job convincing everyone.
Pretty good.
Yeah, she did good. She good, and Kyle did too. Like they both played it really well.
Yeah,
I thought Kyle would be an idiot.
I had no idea
no.
that Kyle knew. I had no idea that Sylvia knew until the confessional where they're like, yeah, Sylvia's doing a really good job keeping this under wraps. And at that point, I wrote, Sylvia deserved an Oscar.
Yeah, she did good.
Because she had Joss freaking out, and that had Brad.
Like,
Brad was losing his mind.
That's my friend.
Yeah.
So you thought she was pretty good
She was good. I was just trying to get to both of them.
because she had those tears.
She was crying, like
Yeah,
legitimately
she
crying.
was crying. Her makeup was running down her face.
Can either of you guys make yourself cry like that?
Yes.
No.
I can't either.
Yeah.
That's a gift. What does Sylvia do well?
She cries.
She cries well.
No, like again, that worked out insanely well. Like there was only one way it could work out, and her plan was again get everyone to burn each other, like do burn votes with their friends, so they know that they cancel out. And then Cam knows her and Kaylee are safe, so their 2 votes are going to be the only one that matters if everything goes according to plan. And when I started putting it all together, I was like CT with the charts last week. I was like, what? Wait, what's she doing? And when I kind of realized her overall goal and that she was not going to be able to be voted in, I was like, that is next level, like, thinking about this. Because this is the first time they've ever done 2 votes for a team, and the first time they've ever done, you get to see who votes even though it's a secret vote. So she had to figure this out, like, at the challenge. It's not like something she planned beforehand.
No, so it's like whoever Cam and Kaylee decide that they really want to go to elimination, that's all they have to do.
Because they know they're safe, so even if they vote them in, it doesn't matter.
So the quote-unquote friend that votes in their friend is the only person that they can choose to go into elimination. Which I wrote as a side note, Cam's plan, brilliant.
I had to get you to pause it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't catch it at first. I didn't really understand what was happening, what she was trying to accomplish.
It took me a minute, too. And then, like, again, I started piecing it together, and I was like, wow. I was like, this is, like, next level mind games.
At first, I thought what she was doing was trying to get everybody to vote for herself and Kaylee.
They can't, though. Yeah.
But then I realized, they can't vote for them because they're safe from elimination. And then I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
What we saw tonight was a master schemer.
Yeah, and the again, going back to what I said a second ago, the impressive part to me was that it's not something she could have planned before this season started because they didn't know these rules.
She had to figure it out after the first elimination.
Yeah.
She had this figured out from the get-go when the daily challenge was over. She knew what she wanted to do, and she executed it.
Yeah.
Very well.
I mean, and like, they showed all of the voting, like, chambers. I don't know, the secret vote room. And, I mean, she got them in their heads enough that, like, Bananas and Tony were like, hey, we're going to vote for you guys, and then you guys vote for us. And then
it cancels it out.
Yeah. So
it amazed me that it actually went through. People actually voted each other in to cancel the vote, and
it worked
it was just
flawlessly.
amazing.
It was like watching, like, someone, like, orchestrate, like, a beautiful, like, piece of music and it just play out in front of you. And, like, I could not believe how it worked. Now, we did get into Brad and Kyle were the first group that went in, and were like, Kyle's like, oh, by the way,
I've got some information.
He's like, I've been in on this the whole time. And Brad was so upset about it.
He was distraught.
He's like, oh my gosh. He's like, why are you doing this to me? And then at one point, like, when they finally worked it out, he's like, please don't ever do this to me again.
I thought it was funny. I had 2 notes on this. One, Brad is scared, LOL. And then the next one, Brad won't blink until the end, LOL.
Kyle had some funny interviews. Kyle's a good addition to the show.
Yeah, I really enjoy him.
Honestly, all the British ones, except for that Rogan guy who just broke his back and never came back.
Everybody else has been really good.
They have been good cast members.
They've been good competitors, and they're really entertaining.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure about them, but yeah, Brad had to be won over by Kyle, and he's like, do you trust her? And he's like, I'm pretty sure. and so it worked out. Like, again, it worked out perfectly. And
it almost didn't, though, because Angela and Faith went in there to do their voting, and Angela was trying to talk Faith into doing another burn vote. And I wrote a big question mark by that because
I don't even remember that, honestly.
The previous elimination, Tori and Derek got voted in because everyone in the house did a burn vote. Yeah. And so my thing was, Angela wants a burn vote, question mark, why? If you know it didn't work out the last time, why are you wanting to do it again?
Again, this was like Cam was playing chess and everyone else was playing checkers. She's thinking like 3 and 4 moves ahead of everyone, and they're thinking just their next lateral move.
And it was flawless.
It did. And then we get to
and can we
what's up?
Can we mention that not only did she put into effect this master plan, but she had the wardrobe to match it. Yeah.
She did. She looked like a chess queen.
She was going all out with this.
Yeah,
like a royal.
She's embracing the persona that she gave herself.
It's great.
I like it.
It's a character.
I like Cam.
I'm fine with it. She's backed it up so far.
I think it was also really funny.
It's not Polly who's lost 2 eliminations already, but we won't talk about that.
So while you guys are still wavering on the Cam in the top
I'm
5,
not wavering on it.
I'm in on it.
I think she's, for my top 5 list, she is working her way up. For sure.
The only way she, to me, right now would replace Camilla is if we just get rid of Camilla because she said all that racist stuff, which was awful.
Yeah.
If you're gonna lump all that in with her gameplay, Camilla's gone, because I don't care honestly if she ever comes back to the show, because I think a pattern has been established at this point.
Yeah.
Even going back to
especially after
X's
talking
1,
with Brandon.
Yeah. It's happened on Cutthroat. It happened on X's 1. And it happened on Dirty 30.
I just found out about what happened on X's 1.
Yeah.
When she talked Emily into putting Nutella on her face to dress up and pretend to be Ty.
And she was like, "It's a joke. It's funny."
Yeah, and even Emily was like, "Are you sure they're not going to think it's racist?" And Camilla said, "No, they're going to think it's really funny." Yeah.
So again, this has been a pattern with her. If we get rid of her, which again,
I'm willing to take Camilla out of my top 5 and replace her with Cam.
I could do that.
I've been ahead of the curve on this.
Well,
she's in the top 5.
The last thing with the voting tonight, I think it's...
We didn't even talk about Joss and Sylvia yet.
Yeah, I had Joss. He almost didn't want to go through with it.
He was
even though
too.
Sylvia was the one that was in on it, crying.
Yeah.
And Joss... Sylvia's trying so hard to talk him into doing this. She's like, you have to do this or it's not going to work. And Joss is like, oh, I just can't do it. And I wrote, Joss is like a Labrador retriever. He just can't bear to vote in his buddy Kyle.
He was worried
loyal
about,
to a fault.
He was worried about voting in Brad and Kyle. Like, he's like, what if this backfires?
It like hurt him.
I mean, luckily it worked out. Now, here's where it happens. We see Cara and we see Marie, and I'm going to get on Cara about this.
Here we go. You better get ready.
She's like, well, if you tell Marie anything, then it's going to be told through the whole house. And I was like, 1, maybe true, but 2, Cara was the one going around and immediately telling everyone who they voted for when her and Marie swore that they wouldn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Like within 5 minutes.
That's what Marie got so mad about.
You shouldn't have said it.
And so this is me staking my claim on this season. She's been annoying. And it's like stuff like that. Again, last week, I'm a role model to all these little girls. And then you got a tweet from the end of July. It's like, I'm not a role model. No one should be a role model.
We have receipts. Her tweet said, I'm no role model. I don't claim to be.
Yeah. And then she's like, I am a role model. Again, that's what bugs me. I don't like hypocrisy. I get that it's a TV show.
If she comes on next season and she is not like this, if she's more like her old self from like 3 or 4 seasons ago, I will jump back on her team.
We're not out on her. We're just saying right now.
It's hurting me to watch her this way.
Yeah.
You guys
because I was such a big fan for so long.
You guys are really setting a lot of people off right now.
Well, you're going down with us if it happens.
I haven't said a word. I said she's in love. That's what I said.
You're part of our entity. You're coming with us.
She's in love.
I do think it's been really hard for her living in a house with her ex-boyfriend who was, I think, the love of her life.
Well, I don't know about that.
I think she finally got over Abe and she was ready to move on. And I think she jumped full in
I
on
do think
Kyle.
she jumped full in on Kyle.
Full in on Kyle. And it's his fault. He just left without a trace.
Is it his fault? They knew each other for 2 months in a weird filmed reality thing. Yeah, it sucks what he did.
He even said so himself. He left for 2 months and never said a word.
That sucks. Again, but at the same time,
we are upsetting 2 groups of people right now. We're upsetting the Cara Maria stands and the people who don't want to hear about Cara Maria anymore.
Hey,
I'm in the second group.
This was the least Cara-centric episode of the season.
Yeah.
And we've talked about her for how long?
Not that long, honestly. And so anyway, that was my only note about her this episode. But we get to the elimination. Everything plays out. The platform lights up.
We find out who Cam and Kaylee voted for.
Yeah, and so it turns out it's Faith and Angela. And the only other team that voted for him...
Where's the other rookie team?
...was Jose and
Davon.
And so I was like, perfect. But we also knew the Mercenaries were coming. So at the same time, we were kind of piecing it together. As far as just planning something out and nailing it like she did. Like
Yeah,
they didn't know the
absolutely.
Mercenaries are coming because this had not been established this
That's
season.
right, because we saw it in the preview. That's how we knew about
Yeah.
it.
Here's what was so special about what she did. I don't know that we've ever seen an individual person run a house like that, a specific plan like
a
that.
second year person.
But
Yeah.
but normally all this stuff happens within the groups that are together,
Yeah,
the
it's,
alliances.
It
you'll
all
have
happens.
one
it's
small
like-
group
It all
of
happens
people.
within
It's
an
like Johnny
alliance.
will convince Derek and Darrell or whoever, and then they'll all vote the same way.
And she did this.
She made an announcement in the kitchen and just got everyone worked up, and then they all voted for themselves.
And
Like,
was bold. We can say this about Cam, right? She's better at capitalizing on her word than Pauly, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah,
She's won
absolutely.
stuff, but I mean, she made it to the finals last year, in her first season, and
Which is amazing.
She won some eliminations. She beat Ashley, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In the mercenary thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think so.
Again, she's done well. Like it's only been one season, but she's done really well. That's the only reason why I don't have her in my top 5 so far, because we've only seen her once. Like that whatever. Going off that, you could say, hey, Carly from Fresh Meat 2 was great because she won.
All right, now you're jumping the gun here.
But obviously that's not a real comparison.
Cam just impressed me so much tonight. Like really, like I
Why did you close your eyes and like hold them together to say that?
because I was so
You're
impressed.
like,
and
I gotta really focus.
like
on
I
this.
can't even fully wrap my mind around
It was it was genius.
how
It was.
intricate it was and how flawlessly it was played out.
It played out perfect, except for TJ was like, oh, by the way,
Bringing in the mercenaries, he announces to everybody that the mercenaries are coming in. The first group is going to be Hunter and Ashley as a team, exes. And he said if the mercenaries win this season in the elimination, they win your spot in the season,
In the house.
game, in the house. And so what I'm thinking is if they win, that's an extra team coming in the house.
Yeah.
So surely that must mean that whoever is in the elimination and loses against the mercenaries doesn't go to redemption, but goes home.
yeah, we rewound it to see if he gave a hint one way or the other with
He
the
didn't.
words, and he didn't.
It was
And
very vague.
and they did that on purpose because they want you to tune in next week. I get it.
But even then, I still think
I hope.
I still think that Cam's plan went well. I think the mercenaries coming in was a better deal than Jose and Dave Vaughn going in.
Yes, except I mean, Cam wanted them to take each other out and have to fight against each other and then go back to redemption. I hope what we see going forward is the mercenaries like completely kick the team. If they win, they kick the team out of the game completely. Not Redemption House, nothing. Like they're gone.
And that's the only thing that makes sense, right? Because
Because otherwise
you're
you're
just
adding
a
2,
team.
3, 4
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
teams.
and
Because
that's-
we know Hunter. I mean not Hunter, but we know Devin and someone else are coming.
Yeah.
Right.
And so
And-
that's the only way it makes sense to me.
I agree. Yeah.
And we know that they're not going to bring the mercenaries in for every elimination
No.
because they don't have that many.
But but it's smart though because again, Cam had this master plan. But now you can plan it as much as you want. They don't know what eliminations mercenaries are going to come in.
Right.
So it could just be like, hey, it doesn't matter who voted for you. So you could have everyone gang up on somebody, vote them in, then they go against mercenaries. We don't know yet. So I like that wrinkle, but I do hope it's not, oh, they just get to go to the Redemption House. I get it's unfair, but this season's not fair. I mean, we've had that established.
We have
since
mercenaries fighting for spots in the game.
well, I mean, we have a Redemption House that, Jenna and Jimmy and some of them didn't even get a chance to fight for. And as
Yeah.
far as come back in.
I'm still very upset about that.
It is what it is. They've established these kind of guidelines, and it's not going to be a fair season. I will say I think that makes for better TV.
I think that's why this
Yeah.
season's been so
Yeah.
great, because there's so much that
Up in the air.
you can't plan
Yeah.
properly for. And so
Yeah.
they tried the burn vote.
So,
that
yeah.
came back.
And so then Cam figured she figured out the system top to bottom. However, they added another wrinkle, and it screwed it.
I don't think it screwed it that much.
Well,
I
it
really
screwed up
don't.
her initial plan. She wanted the rookies to go against each other. I don't know if it. I will say I think Ashley and Hunter are going to be a much harder team to beat than
Absolutely.
than Jose and Devon.
Absolutely.
And it looked like it's a physical thing where they're like punching through glass or through sheetrock or something. Hunter's huge, and Ashley is a lot taller than I remembered. As far as she was standing over all of them.
I mean, first time I've ever said it. I was excited to see Ashley.
I've
never said it before.
I've kind of turned the corner on her as someone on the show.
I started to turn the corner when Brittany came along.
I did not like her first couple of seasons when I thought she was just like a low rent Miley Cyrus knockoff.
Oh my gosh.
That's what she was.
That's brutal.
That was her first season.
That was her first. Again,
Bloodlines.
She was hooking up with Cara's weird, or not Cara's cousin. It was Cara's cousin.
Cara's
Jamie.
cousin
Cara's
Jamie.
cousin in the bathroom like day one, and everyone was watching it, and I was like, I don't like this because I didn't like her accent and just how. Now that I've kind of seen more of her, I don't like how she quit. Was it Vendetta? She quit like day one.
Yeah.
I think she's had a rough upbringing, to say it lightly. Like we saw in one of the Champs versus Stars, she had an issue with her dad.
And she's adopted, and it was her adopted dad that she was so close to.
I'm way more sympathetic towards her than I was to
yeah.
begin with.
I think
I didn't like Hunter either, and I'm kind of excited to see Hunter.
Yeah, he's a good competitor. But with Ashley, I think her first season, she wasn't sure how she wanted to be portrayed on the show, and so she was just going all out. I think maybe she thought she would just get more camera time.
I'll say all those Are You the One people, I still don't like them as a whole, but I mean as individuals, let me say it that way. But as a whole, that crop, I think it's Are You the One season 3, some Paul emailed us about, that got us a lot of good cast members.
Yeah.
It was Corey, Hunter, Nelson, Devin, Amanda, Cheyenne, Brittany. Like that's a lot.
I like Cheyenne.
That she won't be back.
I know.
Yeah. But
She's got a baby gap baby.
That's a lot of good TV people.
Yeah.
And I was apprehensive to it. I would much rather those people come on than honestly Big Brother or Bad Girls Club or Vanderpump Rules.
Oh, absolutely. Like as much as we don't really like the Are You the One people, I would way rather see more people come from there than from Bad Girls Club and Big Brother.
I agree.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah. So what were you going to say?
I'm just typing over here.
I thought you had something you were going to bring up.
Well, in closing, are we closing?
I mean, we don't have. I was going to say, I'm excited to see the elimination next week.
Yes.
I'm excited to see TJ explain if they go to the Redemption House or if they're just gone. That's the main thing I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
But other than that next daily looks rough as far as like old school, like physical daily.
Yeah.
Like it looked like football, but just with bicycle helmets and no other pads.
Yeah.
And
Did you see Zach?
Yeah, Zach laid Nelson out. We paused it. I mean, I saw
you could
it
see
we paused
you could see his name on his butt.
Yeah, it was Nelson. Like he caught him, and Zach's a football player.
But
he played
I mean,
at Michigan, I think.
Nelson almost like snapped in half.
He did. It's like one of those wide receivers when they're running those routes over the middle, and that's the most dangerous ones when they just kind of that little slant pattern, and he jumps up to catch it, and Zach catches him in midair and just nails him. And also we see Shane and Jose, it looks like, really get into it, which is why we're gonna have Shane on
next Thursday after this episode
to explain. We'll still do our weekly recap, and without talking to Shane, and give our opinions, and then he'll come on and he's going to explain what his side of things are, just at the season, and we'll talk about more than just this season. I want to know like how it feels coming back from such a long break, because I think Paul told me he was the longest gapped, like as far as like from when he last appeared to now.
Because he
had the longest hiatus.
It was like 9 years.
Yeah.
And that's a long time to just like be out of it and then suddenly come back in. And he's been on every season since, I think.
Yeah.
Because he came back for Invasion of the Champions, right?
Yep.
Statman Paul, you may need to check us on that. I'm not sure if he's been on every single
I'm pretty
season.
sure he has.
Invasion, Dirty 30, Vendettas.
Yeah, he's been on all of them.
He's been on
because it's
all
all
of them.
been like rival based. Like that's the one thing Wes talked about is like, the last like 4 have just been rivals, just renamed a different way.
Yeah.
And other than Invasion of the Champions, which great idea, horrible execution.
Oh, it was awful.
But
I think they should do another X's.
I don't know what they want to do.
Or another a best friend season. Didn't you say something about that?
I think it would be neat. Like again, because Leroy and Mike on that one season was hilarious to watch,
and they made it really far.
If you have best friends that turn on each other, like that's way more drama than.
Oh yeah, because they usually, if you're best friends with someone, they're gonna know like you're low down dirty dirt. And if you are in a crazy, insane house where you have no outlet, you can absolutely lose it and start fighting with each other and then just airing out all that dirty laundry in front of the whole house, which I think would be really good TV.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see where they go with this. It seems like they're really wrapping up this whole trilogy.
I hope they go in a very different direction for the next season.
I'm excited to see what they bring up. Again, we'll see. I mean, this episode, it was good.
It was really good.
Here's what we can walk away knowing.
Mm-hmm.
We can trust Marie when she says we're going to have a good episode.
Yeah.
We know that.
And she said it gets crazy. And she did tell us specifically, even if you're not a fan of like the editing or the pacing, like she's like, knowing the outcome of this season, I don't see how they could screw it up. Like no matter what they did, as long as she knows what's happened, it's going to be a good season.
So the 3 things we can walk away from knowing tonight.
That's one of them.
I have 3 more.
Okay, so there's 4 things. So we have to add in, we can trust Marie when she tells us we're going to have a good episode.
We can trust Marie. Nelson doesn't like the B word.
Oh, that's right. He got really upset. Like it was like hurting
which just
him.
adds to his sensitivity and his.
I've turned the corner on Nelson because he stopped trying to act like he's like the smartest person in the room, and he's just like honest about things.
Yeah, he's real soft.
Yeah.
So Nelson doesn't like the B word.
He loves to say fancy though.
Faith is not shy about mooning anyone.
Yeah, that was strange.
We learned that.
Did you see Cara's face?
Did she get Brad's bug eyes?
I don't know, but one thing we have not talked about, which I messaged to Shane because again we've been talking with him a lot.
Let me get my third thing out.
Okay.
Brad can finally blink.
Yes, that's true.
He finally
it's
blinked.
a big episode. Underlying thing with Brad's eyes.
Big episode, bigger eyes.
During that, like it kept cutting to Brad during the elimination, and he's making this really weird forced grin. I was like, "What is happening?" But however, the thing that we were going to talk about, and I forgot, I messaged it to Shane, and I put a screenshot up, and so I'll put this on Twitter, and I'll put it on Instagram and all that because I took a picture of it. So they're showing the eliminations, and when I think it's when TJ says there's mercenaries coming out.
No, it's when like the plan works.
Okay,
like,
so yeah, it was when Cam's plan all came together.
Yeah.
And Shane put it together that Jose and Devon were going to have to go against Faith and Angela. He's dying laughing in the corner, like bottom right corner of the TV. And it caught Jake off guard for some reason, and he spit his drink out, and it went all over his laptop.
His brand new laptop he just bought.
And I was like, "What happened?" I was like, "Yeah, it's funny, but it wasn't that off-put. Like, it didn't catch us off guard." So I sent a picture to Shane, and he thought that was really funny.
I think it's funnier, Jake, that you spit your smoothie on your new MacBook.
I think over that of all things.
No, because Shane is one of the most entertaining aspects.
He's a really good character on the show.
Is.
Yes.
He plays into it, I think.
And to an extent, I almost think that for the show, he has a character.
Yes, I will see when we talk to him, and we've interacted with him some. He said he's got the same sense of humor as Marie, and so I think we'll get along with him pretty well.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you not ever watch stuff and just like it's so bizarre or exciting that it makes you grin?
Yes, but
okay, so I was already grinning because I'm like, it worked, and then Shane's full out laughing over here, and it just put me over the top.
You went, and I was like, "What's happened to you?"
So, he made me laugh.
No. What you were just describing, that's what I was doing when Faith mooned everybody, and then
I was like, that wasn't that funny.
No, Faith mooned everybody, and then it cut to Cara.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Cara looked like she was disgusted and shocked and appalled all in one, and I had I could feel my cheeks.
Again, we all had this weird elimination reaction. I thought the funniest part was Brad
No, I could feel my cheeks burning because I was smiling so big at Cara's face because I was like, yes, I would make that exact same face.
Again, we didn't hear Brad, but the sound that I heard in my head when I saw him was like, and that's what was funny to me. And then 5 minutes later, it cut back to him, and it was the same face.
He was still doing it.
And so that was funny to me. So let's get into our superlatives for the night. Who smashed some heads?
Ooh, can I go first?
Go for it.
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Who I have for smashing heads.
Don't read my notes.
I can't see that from here. I don't have my glasses on.
Brad could read them from here.
He can read them from wherever he's at right now in Chicago.
He sure could.
Because his eyes are so big. No, I have Sylvia as smashing heads today.
I'll give you that.
Because of the
she did
amazing performance that she did, fooling the entire house, even her partner Joss, into thinking that she was distraught over being one of the two teams that Cam is going to vote in.
She did good. Like, again, I guess I said earlier she did pretty good. Like, she did good. Like, she really like committed to that. I'm fine with that one. That's not who I picked, but that's a good pick. Who did you pick, Jake?
I gotta go with my girl Cam.
That's
I know.
I figured someone would do that, so I went different.
Yeah.
I know that's the way to go. But
She's the clear
That's
cut.
absolutely the way to go.
when I've already deemed her top 5, I have to stick with her when she justifies my statement, and she did it.
Yeah.
I think that Cam's plan would not have played out as well if not for Sylvia.
What's funny is all of us that had who smashed some heads tonight, none of it had to do with the actual elimination we saw. Like, you picked Sylvia, but it wasn't because of that elimination. It was because of how she committed to that role, right?
I forgot Sylvia was in an elimination.
Exactly. And so
Everybody needs some help along the way, but there's got to be somebody
I would need
spearheading
help.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
So here mine was TJ, because Cam had I know it wasn't TJ, it was like production, but Cam had masterminded this plan. It had worked out, and he's like, "Oh, by the way."
He smashed Cam's head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It kind of trumped the movement.
So would you say TJ or MTV production?
Well, I put
smashed
TJ
it?
because he's the one we saw deliver the news.
I think it would be funnier if you said, out of all the competitors, production smashed hits tonight.
Well, I mean, it may be.
In a way.
It may be, and it may like by. I guess I can't think of the words I don't want to say. It's not ipso facto, whatever. By default, it may actually end up being Hunter and Ashley smash some heads because TJ, implemented that tonight.
Yeah.
And so we'll have to wait till next
I'm
week
really
to see
excited to see how it plays out.
that. So that was my pick for it. Because, again, no one... They might have suspected some mercenaries were coming, but they didn't know it was coming tonight.
Yeah.
And otherwise, Cam wouldn't have wasted that awesome plan on this.
No, but also it almost feels like it was a little soon for the mercenaries to come in. Like, for us watching it week by week, no. But if we were binge watching every episode back to back, I would feel like it was a little early.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with that.
Again, great pacing tonight to me.
Yeah, it was great.
So,
I was impressed. I was happy.
I'll go
with
first.
it.
I'll go first on who got their head smashed.
Go ahead.
It was all the rookies. I'm going to group all of them together.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's not what I had, but I like that one.
Now, I will say, granted, everyone, for the most part, fell for Cam's plan.
But the rookies had the short end of the stick.
They were the victims of it because she worked them against each other, got one of them voted in who she wanted, and then made it look like the other team was going to have to take them out, or vice versa. They fell directly into exactly what she wanted. Now, we'll see. Jose and Devon won't actually have to go in.
Yeah.
Because of Hunter and Ashley. But, again, I think they got played just as bad, if not worse than everyone else, because they were the victims of it all.
Jose and Devon had no idea. Angela overheard Cam telling Shane and Marie and Cara and Sylvia and the others that were down there. She was telling them the plan and that it had gone through. And so Angela overheard that, and she's like, it's not going to work. Yeah. She just thinks she's all this and that. And so
it works.
Even though Angela overheard and knew what was happening, she didn't know who Cam voted in. Angela and Faith were the ones that got voted in. So they still got their head smashed pretty big.
That was the one thing I sort of questioned, was revealing to the whole house.
Well, at that point, it was locked in.
I get it, but was it necessary for the whole house to know what she had did?
Did she tell the whole house or just her friends?
I mean, even if it was just a small group.
It was going to get out. Yeah, it was going to get out.
But either way,
well, I will say at
it.
that point, she knew 4 other people outside of her team knew because they had to reveal it to their partners in the vote.
Yeah.
So at that point, everyone had voted. She had voted. I think it's a good power move because she's telling everyone, I figured this out, and I know how to manipulate this game. And it's going to put everyone on edge when it comes to anything she says from here on out.
Do you think anybody else is going to try to follow in her footsteps and pull the same plan?
They can't now because, again, how this mercenary thing played out. I mean, they may try, but everyone, again, here's kind of the thing I think is that she knew it was going to get out eventually, so she might as well be the one to put it out and like take ownership of it instead of trying to hide behind something else because it makes her look stronger and not afraid. Saying that, she knew once it got out that they would kind of figure it out to an extent that, they burned each other. Like, they burned votes for each other. So, obviously, Cam's vote is the one. Because there are so many alliances voting for each other that they would figure it out eventually.
Right.
It was smart. Now that they got the mercenaries worked in, I don't think it'll ever work again. Even if Cam wanted to, no one's going to believe her. Now, here's what she could do down the road if they win power, move again, or whatever, power vote. She could do another announcement, say, hey, I'm voting in these two. And everyone's going to be like, well, is she really? And she might legitimately be like, yeah, I'm voting these two in.
I think that would be funny.
Or one or the other. And everyone's going to freak out because they don't know where her head's at. Because she's got it implanted that she's working at another level than everyone else is so far.
Yeah, I think everybody sees now how smart she is.
So if she did anything, she put fear into the house. Like, her plan worked, but there were 2 or 3 people that confirmed, like, we're not crossing Cam ever.
Oh, yeah.
I think Shane was one of them.
Yeah.
Shane was one of them.
He's like, I will tell her the truth from here on out and not ever
Which we can
cross it.
ask him about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who got their head smashed? You guys haven't answered yet.
You could do a combination of Brad and his eyes. His eyes were put to work tonight, and it's a big talking point for us on this show, specifically for me. I'm a big eyes guy, right? Like, I take notice of the eyes.
I mean, are you?
That's the first I've ever heard you say that.
I've never heard that.
I mean, I think the eyes can really tell.
It's a window to the soul.
That's it. And so
I will say, you could tell just by looking at Brad last season, and then this season it's a different person in the eyes.
It's not the same person at all.
But he was on edge over this whole plan. He was unaware, and he seemed really boggled by the whole thing.
Yeah, he legitimately said, "Oh, please don't ever do this to me again."
And Kyle confirmed everything by talking about how at work his eyes were, that he couldn't blink and all this stuff. And he got his head smashed.
Okay, so you say Brad's eyes?
Yeah,
Brad's
eyes got their head smashed. I put Brad for mine because when Cam made that announcement, he went into a frenzy.
They were all shook. Like, everyone in the house.
Yeah,
was like,
everybody was visibly shaken up, but Brad, more than anybody, was losing it. I mean, he was really
but
he was all over the place. Yeah,
he doesn't have a job. He needs his
everybody
money.
else has kids too.
That's not true.
Well,
you guys have kids?
No. Well, we don't. None of us here have kids.
I don't have kids.
Well,
I'm not married though.
We have
you
we
still
have
kids
2
and not
dogs.
be married.
That's true.
So
You have a dog.
Who acts as my kid.
yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of people that are on this challenge. There's a lot of people that have been on the challenge in the past that have kids. So Brad doesn't get like this special card.
I think there was more to that little scene last week than what they showed because, like,
I'm sure.
Yeah. Again, it is what it is.
I mean, we know Brad's been going through it.
Oh my God.
His kids have been going through it because his dad's on national television.
And their new almost stepmom is girl.
Boy,
That's it.
Again, she's 27, way older than I thought she was. I mean, that's not old,
way
age as
older
me.
than I
Yeah.
thought she was, because she acts like she's 20.
Well, it wasn't. Paul checked us on that. It wasn't as big of an age difference as what we thought. This is a quick note. I think I told both of you guys about it. This doesn't have anything to do with the episode. However, I learned this week that Brandon Nelson is actually older than Abe and Derek K. Like Derek, old school Derek, which is mind blowing because we
Like Pitbull Derek with the kid, with the son.
from Challenge Mania.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both just turned 35, and Brandon, I think, has already been 35. And
I thought Derek was almost 40.
no,
Or
Abe,
like at 40.
and Abe, again, is only 35. They're all younger than Johnny Bananas. And that's crazy because they've been on our TV to some extent since they were like 19 or something.
See, I thought Johnny and Cara were the same age. Like they're
Cara's
I thought,
32.
Yeah,
Johnny's
I knew
like
Cara
36
was
or 37.
32. I thought Johnny was about that age.
No, Derek and Abe, I think, were both born in 83. And again, that's just crazy to me.
It's very surprising.
Literally has nothing to do with anything else we talked about, but I didn't know where to put it in.
He's a good-looking 35. We'll say that.
Who? I named 4 people. Just
Our guy Brandon.
Oh, Brandon.
Yeah, he does not look it.
No. Again,
Johnny's starting to show his age a little bit.
yeah.
So is CT though.
I'm wondering what Johnny's plan is as far as like an exit plan, because he's clearly like branching out.
I want to have him on here so I can ask him if one, he's ever going to retire, or option B, he's just going to continue doing the challenge until he dies on one.
Well, Johnny, I mean, if you're listening, who knows at this point? I doubt it, but
just in case.
Yeah, come on, tell us what your exit plan is. I'm of the belief that as long as he's getting the calls and as long as he feels like he's physically able to compete, he'll still do it. Because he knows this is his livelihood. He carried the show in like some rough years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like post Kenny Evan, that whole era that kind of died out, and like Wes was kind of in and out. I mean, he did carry, and he's turned,
the face of the challenge right now.
He is, and I think they're trying to push Cara to be that now, and I don't know if that's kind of where all this has come from.
I don't know that it's working very well.
I mean, she won $370,000 last year or last challenge.
Yeah.
She's clearly the female face of the show right now.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think that's debatable.
She's the only sole winner, like off of a challenge.
Ever. They've never done that before.
In history.
Yeah. So.
Which is crazy to think how close Zach was to it.
Yeah.
He could have already bought Jenna a ring and a house.
Maybe.
These are the things I think about.
Well, it'll be interesting going forward. Apparently next week's episode is going to be crazy. That's the one Shane wanted to come on after because it's named after him. So we will see what happens.
That has us really excited.
We have a couple more names I'm not going to drop out there yet, but we've been talking with other people that hopefully will be on soon. Again, it's been pretty crazy like the last 2 weeks or so.
What is it, 7 or 8 weeks in, and
July 5th was our first episode.
I mean, we're kicking it with the cast members. It's crazy.
Legitimately, like one of them texted us tonight to wanted to know what we thought afterwards. And
crazy.
And if you would have told me that, I wouldn't have believed you. I'd be like, this is some weird guy from like New Jersey that's pretending to be, but it's not. Again, we are humbled on the account of we never expected it to happen, and if we did it, not this fast.
Or to this extent.
Yeah.
Well, you're the one that's saying we're going to be famous.
Well, I said we were going to go viral.
Yeah,
My brothers think we're famous.
They were on the show last week.
They were.
They were our silent audience.
They wanted to be back this week.
Which I
told you, the youngest Jagger wants to be here if and when we ever interview Amanda. Because he has a real heavy crush on her.
I don't know what he's going to do with that
pretty.
information. Also, she's like 10 years older than him.
You can't.
I would have said more than 10.
I don't know how old she is. She may be like 25 or so. I don't know.
Look, man,
I think she's about the same age as Jenna. Statman Paul, if you have her age, let us know.
We could just Google it.
Yeah, you have a computer.
I
want to
wrap this up.
Here's the thing: is when you got a crush in your heart and mindset on someone, it's hard to get you off that course.
Your brother is at a very impressionable age.
He is.
Okay, let's get
so
on
I
from
mean,
this.
I really, it makes sense that he's got a crush on her.
Music this week. I don't know if anyone's ever responded other than Paul about music. Anybody? What's your recommendations?
Han?
I don't want to go first. I want to go last.
They're not going to be the same. I don't think any of us are going to be the same.
All right. Well, here's what I have for you.
Don't give me Creed.
The Bled.
I listen to them.
But I think you're going to disagree with my album. Found in the Flood.
No, that's fine. I like the first one better, but that's a good CD too.
Yeah, I liked that one actually a significant amount more.
It's different.
Yeah.
I listened to it not long ago when we were playing Rocket League or something. By the way, if anybody ever wants to play Rocket League or something with this, let us know.
Play with us.
Yeah, we play on PlayStation most of the time. Hannah doesn't. Just me and Jake.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. That's a good CD. Like I remember buying that CD as I went to a university. You went with me.
Did I go with you?
Yeah, you went with me. It was me and you and Carly. We went up to the University of Memphis to check out the campus, and you were a year behind us. I don't know why you went with us, but you did. You took a day off of school, and we did too, to do a college trip. And I bought that CD.
Huh. And I had no intention of going to the University of Memphis.
I did, but
I actually didn't go to college. A little tidbit about me.
You did, but that's a long story. But anyway,
well, the University of Memphis is an amazing school.
I think so.
Amazing campus. It's beautiful. It's nice.
I was supposed to go there, and last minute I went to MTSU.
Well, the teachers there are amazing. They're very helpful. They're very down to earth. They act like they're your older friend. You get a great quality education.
Okay. We're not sponsored by the University of Memphis.
Well, if we could be.
I do like the Tigers. However, that's a good pick. I'm going to go with one that I've been putting off just for other reasons. Brand New is the band, if you don't know them. The Devil and God are raging inside me. I almost picked Deja and I can't even say it now.
Just say
Tindu and Tondu, whatever. But that was actually like right before high school. That was like 2003. Devil and God are raging inside me came out. And I will say there's been some controversy with Jesse Lacey in the last year. I'm separating the art from the artist. They've been my favorite band since 2002 when I first heard Jude Law and the Semester Abroad. So I've grown up, changed with them. I even love their last album. It's fantastic. Brand New is my favorite band, but that album I think personifies their like perfect like mix from top to bottom.
I think Deja and Tondu, however you say it, is the more iconic album. Like it's the more recognizable.
It's the one that had like the big hits that made them kind of famous. But I think the next one is their masterpiece.
Absolutely.
And I love Daisy, the one after it, and I love the one that they just came out with. I forgot what the name of it. It's Rocket Science, but great movie too. That's a great movie.
Haven't you taken me to see them a couple of times?
We went once. We saw them in Modest Mouse in Nashville with some other people.
That was at the outdoor arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah. So that's mine. What's yours?
Because last week I did more of my emo rock.
Okay,
Zach's favorite word.
Let's not get into all that. I wrote a paper about that.
I know you don't like that word.
Never mind.
I'm trying to do something totally different from last week, and then next week I'll do something totally different from this.
I'm going to have to start another podcast to explain all that.
Shut up. This week is going to be Justin Timberlake, Future Sex Love Sound.
You can't say that word.
I can because Sexy Back was on that song. That song was on that album.
That CD came out in like 2004.
I know.
You were not in high school in 2004.
But I listened to it all throughout high school.
Okay, I was like, we weren't even in high school in 2004.
It was 2006.
No. Yes.
It came out in 2006.
Did it?
You were in
2004.
I was in high school.
You were graduated by then.
Yeah, no. I graduated in 07.
I graduated in 08.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, that was, I guess, maybe like a junior when that came out. I don't remember. I did like that. I will say, big fan of his. I remember being a freshman.
We love him.
I remember being a freshman in college and watching an HBO special, and he just was playing everything, and I was like, this guy's great, and then I got back into him. However, we've gone really long. So
have we?
Yeah.
I felt like we were shorter than we've been the past few weeks.
Well, I mean, compared to Marie and, the other ones, but I mean, we're at an hour and 22 minutes, so. Any parting words?
Good night.
Oh, quick plug if you made it this far. Sorry. Me and Jake guested on another podcast.
Yeah. Talk about that. We also have to do our plugs.
You go ahead and do your plugs. I want to make sure I get this right.
Let me see what I can do.
Okay, so our Twitter is going to be at Smashing Heads PC. The PC does not stand for podcast. It stands for pretty cute.
Well, both. It's both.
You want me to go?
Okay,
yeah.
That didn't work. Just trying to
that
signal you
was awful.
silently, and you're just like, what?
I signaled you silently, and then I poked you, and you still didn't get it.
Go.
What's our Instagram?
You can't spell. Our Instagram is at Smashing Heads Podcast. Email is smashingheadspodcast@gmail.com. Our Podbean, smashingheads.podbean, whatever. We've got a lot of new listeners. Some of them don't like iTunes, don't use iTunes. Podbean.
You can get it off of Podbean.
Yeah. We got a lot of new followers on Podbean this week. So check it out there. Facebook, Smashing Heads Podcast. Just search it or / it. Anyway, me and Jake guested. Hannah didn't want to do it, but we did.
I was tired.
So it was a podcast with a guy named Jeff, and I don't know his co-host name because we didn't meet him, called Why Everything Sucks. It's Why Everything Sucks podcast. He wanted to have some people that have a podcast come on and talk about why it sucks starting a podcast. They cover all kinds of topics from why does continuing your education suck? Things like that. And so he had us on, and we just talked about our ins and outs, and the things we had to figure out to start a podcast. It was more of an interview type. He was asking us questions, which is unusual for us, but we just kind of took turns answering them, and talked about how we got started, what equipment we use, because there's not a lot of rock solid information, because I found that out looking when we started. So again, it was fun. Jeff was a cool guy, and again, what do you have anything to say about that?
It was a good time.
Yeah, we have a couple other things in the works that me and Jake might jump on soon.
I'm glad I know about that.
Well, it's pertaining to a very specific video game that you don't play, so we'll have to get back to that one later.
Yeah,
That's up in the air right now. But yeah, we enjoyed it. We may try to start doing it more. There's a lot of people on Reddit that are looking for guests, and I think it's it's fun to jump on some other things and just broaden our horizons. And Hannah, if she wants to jump on, if she could, she chose not to do this last one.
I
That's
had
on you.
worked all day.
That's fine.
That's on you.
That's fine.
That's your bad.
Anyway, it's called Why Everything Sucks Podcast. Their Twitter's literally just @SucksPodcast. But
I like that.
I think it's a good name.
so check them out. We'll tweet whenever that link goes up. I think he said it'll be next Monday, not yesterday. So I think that's it. Anything else?
No.
If you have questions for Shane, let us know. That's the last thing.
Zach's favorite word is emo. Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah, great. Good night.